Give it the true shot. I want 7.5 million over my head, money hitting under my bed. Baby, let me talk about it, let me talk about it, let me talk about it. I'ma grind on heavy till the fam get fed. They gotta be good when I'm dead, man. Let me talk about it, let me talk about it, let me talk about it. I'ma grind on heavy till the fam get fed. They gotta be good when I'm dead, man. Let me talk about it, let me talk about it, let me talk about it.
Congratulations on being a dad.
Thank you.
How old?
I have a 3-year-old and a 12-week-old.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they right next to each other.
He was wanting to get out of the house.
Yeah, you know. It's like you're after 40, you need to go ahead and make some decisions. And
Right.
That's what we did. We said, all right.
Well, I have 3. That's 2 of mine right there. So we got Jaden. He's 10. He'll be 11 in August. We got Jordan. She just turned 14. Those are the 2 that me and my wife created together. And then we have an oldest that's 21. She'll be 22 in March. Yeah. And she had Tamar prior. And then I became her dad at 5 years old when she was 5. Wow. So I went through that whole stepdad phase, and you know what I mean, like, yeah. She was calling me Mr. T and Mr. Corey. And, and she'll say, "This is my mom's fiance." That's how she was introducing me, and we had a little sit down with her and was just like, "Hey man, you know, me and your mom get married." She had this major breakdown. Like, it was just like, what are you talking about? Like, it was just emotional. And I was like, yo, we're not taking you away from your dad, but I'm going to be the dad. And she had this weird reaction to it. But the funny story about that is we was like, hey, you don't have to call me dad. You can call me something else, you know, and we was giving her different names. And at the time, this was like, 2009, 2010. And she said, I don't know what I can call you. So guess what she calls me?
Not Barack.
She calls me Diddy.
Diddy. Little did we know.
So yeah, I told her.
Before.
Yeah, it was before, way before. So before he changed his name to Diddy.
So we were all in denial. When we saw Diddy over here doing this right here, and no one asked questions, and he's over here doing that. No one else is dancing like
Man,
this.
and all the videos.
All up in the video.
Man, so I had to talk with her. I said, hey man, you still think you need to call me Diddy, or you don't want to go ahead and switch it on over to Pops or something?
Oh, you're Diddy.
Give me Big Papa or something.
You're Diddy.
I'm gonna be Diddy forever, man.
Yes.
But we can go ahead and get started, man. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of In True Form. It's 2026. It's Black History Month. I know you probably going to be looking at this like, all right, he got a new setup. No, it's a little different. So I want to do a special shout out to Weird Production, Lindsay, for allowing me to showcase this, and another special thank you for Amos Cooper Jr. This is his establishment. This is his building, and we're going to dive into that. And we have another special guest by the name of Tobias Rose. So, Tobias, you were introduced to me last minute, but I was excited because I'm like, all right, man, I ain't have a 2 guest person in about 15, 16 episodes. So, In True Form is about 22, 23 episodes in. And it's a Raleigh fitness couple by the name of Map 2 Fitness that's in Raleigh. It's a black husband and wife duo. Those were the first, let me get both in front of this camera type of thing. So I appreciate you putting that in my forefront so that we can basically dive in. But I do got to give you your flower introduction. Okay. So my formats, we did a little thing a little different, but Lindsay loves weird production and weird things that happens. So right now we're going to introduce Mr. Amos. So he is a Durham native. I'm originally from Jersey, so if I mess up Durham, don't do me like that. So he's an original Durham native, entrepreneur, community leader who works lives at the intersection of business development and impact. With more than 2 decades of experience in banking and venture capital, Amos made a purposeful pivot into entrepreneurship as a CEO of Bull City Butler and later founded Black Robin Ventures. And not only just that, his firm committed to expanding access and opportunity for minority and local entrepreneurs. During Black History Month, it is especially powerful to highlight stories like Amos's, stories grounded in legacy, leadership, and building sustainable pathways for future generations. In true form, the audience in the building, what's up, Brandon? Please give a warm welcome to Amos Cooper Jr. And I want you to introduce my man, Mr. Rose here, if you can, and let the audience know who he is to you, and we'll get started.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It sounds so good when somebody else say it.
There you go. There you go.
Tobias and I have been friends for a long time, and when I was still, hustling at the bank, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my journey, he was a person that I met through a good friend of mine, D. McDougal, and it's different people you look at in the community that are doing the things that you aspire to do. And he was one of those people that was doing the hustle that I knew I had coming down the pipeline. I just hadn't figured out how to put it together yet. And Central grad, shout out to all the Eagles. All the things that, I was trying to figure out in life. And like I said, he was doing it. And I was able to be a part of Black Wall Street Homecoming when they were planning it, him and 3 other individuals. And it was a focus around Black excellence and entrepreneurship. And it was great. And I got to work closely with him and see what he did through his marketing and design and branding and logo and video and photography and all the things that he was doing. And I was like, man, this is great, because you don't meet a lot of Black entrepreneurs that work in those spaces. And so that was really cool just to see different medias that was happening with people in the community. So he's done a lot of things. I can't even name them all, but just done a lot of things in the community. So
Right.
But it was one of those things to see, a well-respected entrepreneur that was already on the path that I was aspiring to go.
Yeah. You a pioneer. Yeah, man. Let's talk a little bit about that. So, after you heard that your flowers given to you, where are you at today from where you started? And if you want to kind of peel back that layer a little bit on how he gave you that introduction, you can.
Yeah, I think that's, I appreciate that. Thank you. I am very much a multidisciplinary, polymathic creative. So you're right. You may see me drawing or producing video for a client. In fact, last week we were just on set over at Duke. And so that happened. So we're still doing that kind of work. The name of my company is Complex Creative. In fact, our sign is still sitting up over here, even though our studio isn't over there anymore. But we have been what we like to call Durham's creative agency for now the last 20 years. This year, 20 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we've named companies. Provident 1898, we named it that. Mutual Plaza was originally what we called what's now Mutual Tower. The Virtual Justice over at NCCU School of Law. So we've done naming, we've done the logos, the gateway logos you see around downtown Durham. We did that.
Right.
And a lot of other things, BU Cafe, Durham Bottling Company, the Lodge at Duke, et cetera, et cetera. So the journey is the everyday trying to create, trying to do something different. Today I dropped a single, which is interesting.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
Doom.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. I got to Durham, and I had already been doing music in Charlotte and switched everything up and wanted to be known for other things outside of music. And somehow I tripped and fell and got hooked up with a guy named Knots. Knots is a producer that works with Busta Rhymes and Snoop and a bunch of other guys. And over the pandemic, we started working on a project, and today we released the first song from that project called Doom, which is a tribute to MF Doom. So it's very much Adult Swim in your ears. So I'm still doing that, still running Complex Creative, among other things. So now we have publishing added to the repertoire.
That's good, man. I'm gonna keep the mic with you, but how it's crazy how things come full circle. So 20 years, dropping a single, and now you're doing this in this establishment, and the whole point of doing this is to tap into a whole nother stratosphere, and it sounds like you're doing that. Earlier on, while you was attending NCCU, you started what would later become the Complex Creative, which you tapped into from your dorm room. So let's go back into that. What was that like? What was you going through? You know, who did you have, you know, doing it with you? Because sometimes, you know, we don't do things by ourselves. We got a team. So did you have a team back in the day? Are you still communicating with them? Like, what's it looking like now?
So my team was myself and a guy named Daryl Wade, and we were a two-man team running a company called The Practice. The atmosphere in the years 1999 to 2000 was a wild, wild west in tech. So no one knew what to do. We didn't have Facebook back then. We had Black Planet, College Club. What else do we have in '99? I think there might have been a Yahoo Chat. You know, AOL Instant Messenger was
AOL
popping
Instant
off.
Messenger, yep.
So it was the infancy of the internet, and I think a lot of people were trying to find their way. And for me, I started out as a physics major at NCCU. And so as a physics major, you know, honestly, there was like 9 of us, and it was dusty, and then I decided I don't want to be a physics major anymore. But even though I wasn't a physics major anymore, I was still in STEM. I was in computer science. And I got connected with an organization called the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE. And so in NSBE, this was our first year at NCCU, and someone needed to design and develop the website. Like I said, the internet was in its infancy. And I raised my hand to do it, went through Angel Fire, and created what may be one of the most horrific websites ever launched on the internet. And it's somehow still findable if you know how to get to it.
Right.
So I did that, and some friends of mine said, hey, you know, well, it's cool, but what else can you do? I know you can go harder on this. And Flash was the thing, so that, I want to say it was around Christmas 1999 or 2000, I taught myself HTML and Flash, and came back with a new website, had music and animation, and it started making its rounds around the society. And so that's how I got connected with Daryl Wade at the University of Pittsburgh. He was also into the web, and we just started pushing each other, and I think that was the relationship. He would do different things with HTML or JavaScript, and it wouldn't even be anything usable. It'd just be something weird and different, and just to do it, just to show that we can do it. And we would think like that. That's why we called the company The Practice. We would do things like that
was
to figure out
practicing.
what we could. Yeah, it was
Literally.
practice. Like, what can we incorporate into our client projects? And so that was the relationship. We were just really pushing each other and learning and screwing up, and that is really where Complex came from. It came from that trial and error. It came from that practice, and that was all happening through Instant Messenger. Daryl was at the University of Pittsburgh. I was at NCCU. So, you know, you can ask any of my friends, like my friends who have high profiles, like Fonte and Pooh, and Little Brother, and they will tell you, yeah, Tobe was always at his desk. So Working. That's what I was doing.
Still is that.
So I still am. Yeah, I still am.
So this question is gonna be for you. This episode of In True Form is brought to you by Super Deodorant. The aluminum-free, fragrance-free deodorant that actually works. You just put this under your armpits. Promise you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're on a stage or in the gym or chasing purpose, Super Deodorant has your back and your pits. No harsh chemicals, no irritation, just confidence that lasts. Visit superdeodorant.com/intrueform. And if you sign up today, you'll get 10% off your first order. Smell less, do more. Peace. Amos, with you being from Durham, a native and a product of Durham Public Schools in North Carolina, how did growing up in Durham influence your values, mindset, and leadership style?
It's a good question. I think a lot of it really started to change. I specifically remember around, I think, middle school. I was doing a program at the Y where they had, it was something for young black males, and I can't remember the name of the program, but they were bringing in entrepreneurs, and I never forget there was a guy that was like some bigwig at IBM. And I'll never forget one of the kids raised their hands and they asked him how much he made. And he wouldn't tell us, but they were like, you know, they were like, do you make six figures? And he said, yeah. And I remember that was the first time I'd ever met anybody that made six figures, especially that looked like me.
Right.
And so I remember that specific moment really showing you what was possible. And I think just kind of that moment of being cognizant of the world outside of what I had lived in before, of like, oh, wow. I learned a little bit about tech, and I started having an understanding about banking and what went on with, you know, banking and finance. And that's kind of where I started deciding, like, oh, I want to be a banker. And I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I really wanted to be an accountant, but that was a terrible idea. I was too social to be an accountant.
So I'm gonna cut you off real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
and I'm gonna let you finish. So hold that, pull that thought
Yeah.
down. But it made me think about it because my two kids, they are math geniuses
Okay.
in the making. How important is it for them to hone in on that mathematic ability? And the reason I say that is because I wasn't the greatest math student.
Yeah, I hated
growing
math.
up. See, I ain't never
I
heard that
hated
before.
math.
I ain't never heard that before.
I hated math and I hated science.
I love math and science.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, you know, you need a good foundation of math depending upon what you want to do with your life. But it's good to have those basic skills. But as we all know, 9 times out of 10, what you go to college for,
You don't do it in the real life.
Right, you don't do it in the real life.
Right.
And so I spent a lot of time and energy and effort in learning banking and learning accounting, and decided to do, you know, I mean, it's a part of what I do in you know, preparing invoices or figuring out minor stuff, but I'm not doing trigonometry.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's good to have a basic understanding because it teaches you how the world works, right?
Okay.
And I think that's the most important thing when you're learning all those basic elementary skills, is it teaches you how the world works. But you develop additional skills as you get older. That's like, man, I just need a good calculator.
And you know how to work it. You need to go in and you know how to work the calculator.
But yeah, I never liked math, but it was something about banking and accounting, and I really wanted to be an accountant. And then I realized, I was like, I don't want to do this because I was a people person, and I
Right.
liked relationship building. I liked talking to people, and I realized, I was like, I want to do something in banking and finance where I work with people.
Okay.
So I went into the customer service, you know, retail banking. I was a teller, I was a manager, customer service rep, because I liked helping people in the financial world.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be in a back office crunching numbers.
Yeah, I could tell from your tone and your energy that you are a people person.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, and I could tell talking to you that you like, yo, close the door, I'm working, I'm doing
Exactly.
this. Yo, what y'all need? Y'all need something? All right, close that door real quick. I could tell. And you know, people are creative in their own spaces. Staying in the same vein, you spent 21 years in banking, venture capital. What originally drew you to the finance, and how did that experience prepare you for the entrepreneurship? So, tapping into that layer, at what point in time in your youth that you were just like, yeah, you know what, this is what I want to do. You know, this guy is making the 6 figures. I'm interested in that. How did you go to your parents and talk to your folks and be like, yo, this is what I want to do? Because I know you had some type of conversation
Right,
with
yeah,
them. So.
yeah. I think it was figuring it out throughout high school, you know, talking to my parents about what I wanted to do. My dad was very creative. Both of my parents had their own businesses, doing little, you know, different things. So it was inspirational to grow up in a house where you had 2 parents that were, you know, hustling and doing their own things. And I specifically remember when I was 18, I got accepted to Central. I was working at a dry cleaners, and there was a lady in there that was telling me about this local bank that hired 1 high school senior every year.
You remember that local bank's name?
Yeah, it was Guarantee State Bank.
Okay.
And that was my first bank job. It was based in Durham, right over here on Market Street. And I applied and got the job. So I started school at Central, and I was a part-time teller. You know, and that got my foot in the door of learning about banking, and this is like, okay, this is cool. I like this kind of world. You know, I'm looking at they gave me a cash drawer with $10,000, and I will never forget that first day when they handed me that drawer with $10,000.
Pressure. What was that pressure looking like?
I mean, that was more money I'd ever seen in my life
Pressure,
in cash,
man.
and you're looking at it like, wow,
Just
this
think
is a
what
lot of money.
just think what a thief feel like. Thief like, oh man, they feeling like you, but they don't have the same mentality like how you have. You like, oh, this is a responsibility.
It's a responsibility. So you imagine 18 years old, somebody give you $10,000 in cash, and that's yours every day.
That's
You're
crazy.
responsible
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that kind of started, learning about banking, and Central was building that foundation of learning all of what you needed to know how it worked outside of Durham, how it worked in the world of outside of NCCU, outside of Durham, on a global scale of like how you can be a entrepreneur, a CEO, and navigate different scenarios in life. And so that's really what started it.
Yeah. In 2018, you made the decision to leave banking.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? You want to bring that?
Yeah, it was. So the bank that I worked for was Square One Bank, and we invested in startup life science and technology companies, and we banked a lot of venture capital companies. I was very fortunate to get this job because I made more money than I ever made. I had more responsibility. I traveled. I never had a job that paid me to travel, and they were flying me all over the country. I was meeting with clients. What I realized, specifically working in the venture capital world, was I was a cog in the wheel of making rich people richer. So think about Martha Stewart, right? And how she went to jail for what she went to jail for.
Right.
It was the same thing. I was sitting, pushing papers across my desk, helping startups be acquired or go public. And people were investing lots of money into these companies, but I could not participate.
That's what I do photography for, the startup companies in the RDU.
Yeah. And I was like, how is this fair that I'm sitting here helping all these people all over the country become millionaires, and I can't, and I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
And I'm paid well, and I have a lot of good perks, but it's like
tell us. No, I'm just playing. Tell us what you think. You're not playing.
But just, it's like I could write $1,000 check.
Yeah.
To buy penny shares of this company.
Right.
And not have to work ever again, but I couldn't do that. And so I then realized
you felt like you was in a box.
Yeah, I was in a box, and I was going to stay in that box until something happened. And I said, I enjoyed seeing the country. I enjoyed seeing a lot of cool technology. I really enjoyed seeing a lot of pharmaceutical development, but I realized that I could make an impact at home. And that was what really started that entrepreneur journey. I said I wanted to work in my own community and affect change and walk around and be able to see things that were happening. And it didn't matter to me so much anymore what was happening in California or New York or DC. I was like, I can walk around my city that I live in, that I'm paying taxes in, and see the kind of changes on this local scale. So that was really what pushed me to do that.
Jordan, can you look at that screen and tell me how much time I have? Not the big screen, but the camera screen. What time am I looking at? 7 minutes. Okay, thank you. This question is going to be for Tobias. So as your business grew in your dorm room, and from a dorm room idea to a full creative agency with the presence on historic Black Wall Street, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced along that way, bro?
Oh, man. It's a long road. From the dorm room to Black Wall Street, I think some of the challenges that I dealt with were a lot of the same challenges that I think other business owners and entrepreneurs deal with. Process. When you decide you want to be in business, you don't always think about all the processes that you need to put in place so that the business can run without you. You may think about tasks, but processes and documenting those processes, I think that was something that we've always kind of pushed ourselves to try to figure out. Outside of just those normal everyday things, I'll tell you, I think one of the other biggest obstacles you deal with is just the people variable. And the people variable includes yourself. So for me, I've always been in the mind state that when you do entrepreneurship, you're going to be confronted with all of your weaknesses as well as your strengths. So there are going to be things that you're going to be amazing at, but the things that you're not so good at, they're going to be glaring. And, throughout the years, I think that there have been times where some of those little things, they've taught me more about myself, but some of those little things will pop up and it's like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this a different way, or I should have let someone else do that because I pay this person to do that. So things like that. And these are little things that you may have inside of you because this is who you are. It might be hard for you to let go. It may be hard for you to teach someone how to do something so that you can let go. But, these are little things that you teach yourself. So I think that's one of the things. But the other part of the people variable is also working with other people. Everyone has a story and everyone has things going on. Everyone has their own challenges. And while you are trying to have your business going and trying to grow it, this person may have this, sickness that they're dealing with. And then you need to learn how to deal with having an employee that has that sickness and navigate and ensure that they have what they need while you're also running the company. That is challenging.
Right.
It's not something that I'm saying obviously I wish that didn't happen to them, but it's something that did teach me more, and it got me to where I'm at today. I think the other thing is early on, things are way different than they are now. So I think, the benefit as well as the curse of longevity. And I say the benefit because, we're still here. But also, I can sit down and point to different eras and things that defined the way people were thinking at this specific point in time. And, we talk now about creativity. I can call on Renaissance. I can call on this thing. I can call on that thing and utilize that in the work that I do. But even on the micro level, I can look at the way things were in 2005 here in Durham and the way people were moving and thinking, and then the way that changed in 2013 and how it changed in 2018 and then how that's changed today. So you get that perspective, and that because you have that perspective, now you compare. And I think that's one of the other things that I think has been a challenge, but also has been a benefit.
Right.
It's something that has given me the ammunition to be able to consider and think about things in a different way and look at the world a different way as a creative.
Yeah. I appreciate you answering that.
Yeah.
Before we take a quick break, if you're on any socials, if you can let the audience know what your socials are, and then you can also let the audience know what your socials are.
Absolutely.
And we'll pick right back up.
Yeah, I got a bunch of socials. So
Yeah, call them out.
So the typical one is my name, Tobias _Rose. I'm that on Instagram, on just about anything you find that you're on. That is going to be a mix of everything. Then Complex Creative, all one word, KOMPLEKS, the word creative. That's the company. And I'd say just go from there. You might find some other stuff. Start there.
You got a rabbit hole.
And then keep going.
I'm gonna keep it simple. My personal is That Famous Amos, and then the other two are both of my companies, Bull City Butler and Black Robin Ventures.
Cool.
I'm a simple man.
Cool, man. If you want to let the audience know, we'll be right back after these messages.
We'll be right back after these messages.
All right, man. Hey, man, thank y'all again for sticking with us in this great episode of In True Form. Happy Black History Month. It's February 10th, and my birthday is in 7 days. I'm turning 41. So, yeah, man, appreciate it, man.
It's the 20th.
Hey, all right, man.
How old are you turning?
47.
Wow, you look good, man. Yeah, that's Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart. Dang.
Like that.
You had a real reaction too. You was like, nah, that's good. That's good. Nah, I just this episode is actually really special, man, because I've done a lot of stuff for Lindsay lately, and she actually thought about me when she was able to get the space with you, and that meant a lot, especially for the month of February. I always consider this my birthday month, and yeah, so just being here and sitting down with you, and I know we haven't even really pulled back the full layer of the discussion, but I just appreciate you, Lindsay, for sharing that space and the art, and I don't have yeah, man, appreciate that. So I don't have his information in front of me. Chris Facey. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Chris Facey, and what's the name of his photography company? Oh, I think I met him. He got he got the black and white images. Shout out to Chris. This is his work behind me. We met at Durham in the park, or Black Art in the Park. And he's an amazing artist. And just want to kind of highlight that. And probably after this episode, you will see a pan view. I'm going to pan through his photos that's on this wall just so you can kind of have a clear look. But shout out to the co-creator. He does photography in the RDU. You know, he travels, got a beautiful family, great artist. So shout out Chris. But we're going to roll right into it, man. In 2018, let's see, you had Bull City Butler was your first entrepreneurial chapter.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that, or you're open to talking about that?
Yeah, that was, so when I was at the bank, at Square One Bank, I was mostly only dealing with C-suite, you know, a lot of CEOs, CFOs, and I was basically providing, at the end of the day, high-level customer service. I was meeting with these people, making sure they were happy. If the client ever had a problem, they would come to me instead of going to some random person at the bank. They could always pick up the phone and call me. And so I was like, you know, I was working for a bank and I was doing banking things, but it was basically just relationship management. That's all it was. And I realized in them coming to me, if they had a problem or they needed something, I was just doing problem solving. And I was like, why do I need to keep doing this for someone in California when I could do this in Durham? And at that time, Carl Webb had just sold this land across the street to a developer.
Who's Carl Webb?
He's a black entrepreneur. Okay. He's done a lot of real estate deals in Durham. Shout out to Carl Webb.
Shout out to Carl Webb.
And honestly, he people like him paved the way for me to be able to be in this space right now. That high-rise, Durham's first high-rise, was under construction, or he had just sold that land, they big hole in the ground. And I knew that there was going to be a lot of people moving into Durham that didn't really understand the gears of Durham. And I said, let me think about a way that I can use my skills and what I like doing to monetize that in a way that's beneficial for me, but also help people in the community. And so I got connected to some different people, got connected to the developer, and I realized that they had a lot of people that were not going to live here full time. With that comes a lot of different needs: property management, reservations, transportation, all those, which I already knew because I was involved in a lot of the things on the ground in Durham. So I tried to figure out, I was like, what can I do that can leverage all the skills I have, make money, and use this social network that I've created? And so I landed on a concierge service. So I created this. On it. Yeah, I created this this company called Bull City Butler, and started working with a lot of these individuals that were buying property here that really needed help navigating all the things that come with owning a property in a different state than you live in full time. And so I worked with a lot of prominent Duke families, celebrity families, you know, that were moving to the area, had kids going to Duke, and so that's kind of what started that. In that.
Any notable names you want to mention that you're able to mention?
You know, there was a famous comedy sitcom on TV for many years.
Yeah, was it Martin?
No.
Oh.
Different
world.
Different ethnic group.
Okay. Oh, I'm with you. Okay.
And
follow.
Very famous family. It was a comedian. So
okay.
So I worked with them for a few years. But
that's dope.
Yeah.
I went first. I'm like, wait,
yeah. Gave a commencement at Duke a few years ago. So I, it was one of those things that I learned being in the position that I was in. There was a lot of people that did not have the access that I now had. I had keys to a kingdom that a lot of people would never be fortunate.
You was a gatekeeper.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what put me on the journey to realizing that, I need to help pass the opportunity along that I was given and help local entrepreneurs. So when I needed someone that was, I had a family coming in, they needed a chef. Hey, I know local chefs.
Somebody, yep.
Or car service, or dry cleaners, or a housekeeper, or whatever it was. I would work with local entrepreneurs and give them access to this new client base that was, from California, New England, Florida, wherever they were. And in doing that, I started realizing there was a lot of people that wanted to grow their dreams, but they didn't have access to brick and mortar. And that's how I jumped into real estate. Because I said, now that I have this network of finances, basically, and developers and architects, I can figure out how to acquire real estate and help entrepreneurs be able to have access, like the space that we're sitting in now. I was able to acquire this space and, look around, you got all these black artists that are, on Black Wall Street. And so it's just been this arc of like entrepreneurial journey that's never thought I would be here.
Staying in that same vein though, tell the audience what this building is right now that we're in. And if you want to share what you have, what your goals are with this.
Yeah. So when I bought this space, I wanted it to be an artistic space that celebrated kind of Black excellence and creativity. And I didn't know what form that was going to take. This street is very meaningful to the Black community because it was a big gateway of economic excellence and community and all the things that we had before urban renewal. And you can go back and look at pictures of MLK walking down the street. And, dry cleaners, we had banks, we had insurance, we had churches, we had grocery stores, we had education. Everything we needed was from here to Hayti before 147 came, into that space. And so if you look up and down the street now, there's not a lot of Black ownership.
Right.
So I was very fortunate to be able to acquire, this space. And I said, with that, I really wanted to lean into the artistic lens. I was around a lot of creative people, and I'm happy that now, fast forwarding a few years after acquiring this space, I have all this excellence that is going to be displayed going forward in this space with all these Black creatives. Shout out, thank you, Lindsay, for being able to help with that. And there's a lot of people that are going to be coming in the next few months that are going to keep this space just like what you see now.
You know any of them off the top of your head?
I don't know if they're ready to say it yet.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things that are coming that people be able to walk by and see kind of what's happening on the street. And I think that actually I'm gonna give Tobias the mic because he can talk.
Go ahead.
About Black Wall Street as well.
Go ahead.
Where do you want me to start?
Not too far back, just kind of.
John Merrick.
You were here before I was.
Yeah.
We ain't got to go back to Americans Calling. We ain't got to go. I mean, we can, but you know.
Well, I'll fast forward to somewhere around 2014. 2014 was interesting because we started to notice a transition. It was a time where we started to get a lot of traction in tech. And we noticed that we were getting all this traction. We had companies that were getting people to invest in their ideas, but a lot of them were white. We didn't really have the diversity that we should have had. And so me and a few friends, we talked about it. And next door, we came up with this idea for a way to get people to pay attention to Durham, a way to kind of lift up this, like you were talking about a social network. We started noticing that there was a small Black ecosystem that was starting to bubble more than it had been bubbling. And so we did this thing called the Black Wall Street Homecoming. And the Black Wall Street Homecoming, it was a 3-day event. We brought capital networks to Durham. So where we had Black businesses, these Black businesses weren't getting funded. And at that time, the capital networks that we had were Chris Hively. He had a company called the Startup Factory. The Startup Factory was pretty much like our only funder in town for the most part. I mean, y'all were going to give money to people out of Silicon Valley. Which I remember when y'all were getting started, when Square One was getting started. But they were a success story. And so we did this event. We had venture capitalists, Black venture capitalists come to town. We had Black founders come to town, tell their stories. We brought a lot of these same folks that you were talking about, these Black chefs together. And And it got deeper and deeper to where the first year was fun. The second year, I was just like, oh, we're going to go in. So we had we had Phil Freelon. Mr. Freelon came in. He was one of the headliners. But then we decided to mix it up with Pete Rock. And so we had my man Pete Rock coming to town. And
Legend.
yes, he's definitely a legend. So we were not only galvanizing this community, but it was like a cultural thing. And I'd like to say that that moment, the time that we did Black Wall Street Homecoming, was a moment that hopefully inspired people to go out and start businesses or fund businesses or connect with other folks. So that's what we were doing around that time. And I'd say that was like, 2015 to say 2019. But that was, again, when I was talking about these little eras that we have, that was an era, and there were some things that were going to happen and things that did happen, and that all got bookended, I think, around 2020 with the pandemic. But that is that era of Black Wall Street. There's a lot more, but I don't want to bore you. Interesting story. I'll say this: that particular one, when we had Pete Rock here, we had some other MCs, a guy named Sky Zoo, and Sky told me this about 2 years back. He said, that's how we met, and then they actually put out an album together. So Sky Zoo and Pete Rock's album, part of how that came together was because of Black Wall Street Homecoming. So yeah. Okay. He was like, this is my right hand right here. So we would do an event back in the back called Back Alley. So this alley behind Black Wall Street, people call it Alley 26.
Right back here.
Yeah. So back there, we turned into this big, I don't know what you would call it. It was almost like a bazaar, like a black bazaar with a DJ, and we had drinks.
Different types of vendors and all that stuff.
Vendors, live art, and then upstairs in our studio, that was kind of the VIP founder suite.
You had to be important to be up in there.
Well, or know someone. You had to know someone. So what was funny was like Ricky, who's now a James Beard award-winning chef.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was up there serving, serving
wild.
food.
Yeah.
It is wild when you look at.
Man, I forgot about that.
And when you look at like where are
out to
they
Ricky.
now, and a lot of the folks that were there, like you could take a picture and you look at where are they now, and it's just amazing. But even this, what you're doing, like I said, Amos was my right hand. Deep connected us. I was like, oh yeah, you'll like Amos. I was like, all right, cool. Amos came through and was on it. I was like, oh, I don't have to worry. Oh, okay, cool. The next year comes around, so the way we're going, I need Amos. But we're gonna, I don't care what you gonna do.
Say, I need this guy.
I need Amos to be there because Amos made sure that I didn't get too crazy. And so, yeah, it was
There's
great.
a balancing thing. Just like we said, he's in front of the people, he's doing it, and you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I think we got it set up we had it to a point where what were you doing downstairs and
Upstairs.
you were
outside,
going, you were
gas,
everywhere.
tobacco, yeah.
And so I could kind of focus on other things because you had everything kind of,
I'm just blown away on how young y'all brothers are and had that going on. That's the stuff, like I'm sitting there talking to my dad. I was talking to my dad last night. He's 67. And he's talking about stuff that happened in New York and New Jersey and all that stuff. And I'm just like, man, he old head. Like, but y'all talking about stuff like as if y'all are in y'all 60s and this was happening. But the goal is to bring it back again, but use the platform and the media circuits and stuff that we have now. When do you see, like, what's your ETA? When are you really trying to launch this and bring this back and make it like how it was back then, but times 10?
it is back.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest secret in the world of Durham is that it's back already. It's just that the dots are not connected.
Okay.
So this ecosystem is alive because when you look at people like Amos, you look at people like me, you look at a lot of folks around, Eric, look at North Carolina Central University. Mm-hmm. The biggest issue is that those dots aren't connected, I think, in the ways that we want them to be connected, but I'm seeing it happen.
How do we connect them?
Conversations. I think having these conversations with each other, like I see, make sure I use these real names. I was about to say Carrie. Dr. Dixon, Chancellor at North Carolina Central. When I see Dr. Dixon working with J.B. Buxton over at Durham Tech and working over here with Vince, but then also, working in the Black community, okay, she's trying to connect some dots. She's trying to make something happen. I think that's part of it. But I think also people people really leaning into what Durham has always been good at, and that's rolling up our sleeves and saying, okay, what needs to get done? Let's go ahead and sit down and do it. And let's do it together. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic class you in, we gonna do it. Working class, rich folk, whatever, we gonna make it happen because that's what Durham is about. So I think that there is a Black Wall Street in Durham, and you don't recognize it until you start going into other places and you start seeing that there's something missing. You go to other markets and it's like, something doesn't feel right out here in I'm not gonna name names, but I was about to say Wilmington. When you go to certain places, it's like something is missing. And then when you come back to Durham, it feels like home. You know, I'm out here with my brother.
It's a lot of culture here.
It's culture.
A lot of pride.
And I think a lot of it is us just sitting back and recognizing and realizing what we have. So I'm gonna give you the mic and talk.
Yeah, man. That's what you have coming up. What's the power moves
I think
that's in the circuit?
You know, one of the things that I want to continue to see is investment.
Okay.
You know, really in the community, and one of the disconnects is having the freedom financially to be able to invest in your community the way you want to. And I'm a huge proponent of local entrepreneurship. I don't care what color you are, right? We need to keep as many dollars as we can in our community, and we need to help as many local entrepreneurs be able to have access, you know, to be able to grow their businesses. If we take our eye off the ball, we're going to have Starbucks
Taking over.
and, you know, all kind of national brands run throughout downtown.
Yep.
And that's not the city that, you know, I want to see, and that's not the city we want to see. Particularly when you're talking about Black Wall Street, the city has now been presented with a blueprint that has laid out the breadcrumbs to be able to put this back in a way that it's a destination. And that's what I think we're all looking forward to see. This could be like, oh, I want to go to Black Wall Street in Durham because they have a theater, they have events, they have, you know, maybe next year there might be a Black Wall Street Art and Film Festival. Little hint there.
That'd be awesome, man.
So yeah, there's a lot of different things that are happening.
A lot of people in film.
Hey, we need to
doing
talk.
Independent projects. I was just featured in a short film, and it's still in production right now.
Okay.
And I got to get you connected to some people.
Well, those are the things that Tobias, are talking about doing next year.
Okay.
So we need to rap about, you know, those are the kind of things that we want to see happen.
Yep.
You know, when you look around the country that other cities are doing this, and I'm like, man, we could do this. Durham could have a jazz festival.
Absolutely.
Why can't we have a Black Jazz Festival?
Absolutely. You ain't got to go all over the place.
Yeah, we ain't got to go. We can have our own little essence,
Yeah,
you know, right here.
sure.
So there's a lot of things that we can do at home to make this a destination to, you know, bring a lot of money into the community and help a lot of local entrepreneurs. So that's what I really want to see, and just partnering with the right people to make that happen.
Man, that's powerful. It's impactful. I'm gonna have to. We'll have to do this again. I'm saying like right after we take a break in a second, but I'm gonna ask you this question in light of Black History Month. So we often reflect on those who came before us. Is there a Black leader or entrepreneur that was, and this question goes for you as well, that inspired you to get you pushing forward like you're doing right now?
I mean, I think, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the first Black entrepreneurs I knew were my parents, you know, and being around in the community, whether it was church, you know, being involved with the Y, you know, seeing other Black entrepreneurs, and it could be, you know, people like, it could be somebody that clean houses, or it could be somebody that was a chef, or a handyman, or plumber. You know, one of my friends growing up, dad was a mortician. Shout out Fisher Funeral Home, been in Durham for generations, right? And I went to school with them, you know, and so it was like, you know, being around these people, seeing all these businesses that, you know, have been around, made you realize like, oh, I don't have to go to New York and work, right? I don't have to go to DC and work. I can stay right here in my own community and make an honest living doing something that is important and impactful to the community. So you know, I don't know that I can name one person. It's a lot of people that shaped that kind of that spirit.
The person for me that immediately comes to mind is Phil Freeline. Mr. Freeline, luckily I got a chance to know him, and he was a mentor to me. But my first time seeing him was at the art department, at the art museum. Him and Nina, and I remember Melvin Carver saying, "Yeah, that's that right there. That's Phil Freeline." He started telling me about who he was, but what I heard was designer and black, and it didn't matter that he was in architecture. It just mattered that he was black and he was successful, and he was doing something that was remotely like what I do, even though it's different. But he also had his own firm. And so I remember going to his website for no reason, just going to the web and see what they're doing now. Oh, that's dope. Let me see how they did their portfolio. And so he was a person, I think, that, and I said this to him to some degree before he passed away, but he's a person that heavily influenced me in terms of how he ran his business and how graceful he was with this stuff. And then he was also a professor. He also taught, and that was something else I wanted to do. So I got a chance to teach. I used to teach at UNC Chapel Hill. And also lectured over in the School of Design at NC State. But just a person that really lived at that intersection of the practice and also being in the classroom, he was, at that time, he was kind of the prototype to me. So shout out to the Freelon family and everything that he's done.
And for people that don't know what he designed,
Oh, goodness, what did he not design? I mean,
the most famous thing.
Oh, the most famous. Oh, well, the Smithsonian's, African American, museum. But because I wasn't gonna say the whole thing.
Yeah.
But here in Durham, he's also, if you go to the health department, he's designed that. He designed the transit station. He designed the Bright building at NCCU. He designed the pharmacy school at Elizabeth City. I know that before he passed, he was working on the Hitsville Museum. I don't know where that project, but the man was unreal.
And what's his name again?
Phil Freeline.
Phil
Freeline, yeah. So that's what I was saying, with Black Wall Street earlier. He was one of the people we got to come out with Pete Rock. But yeah, he was the guy, one of the people that really, really just inspired me, I think, in business and design.
Okay.
Yeah. And Durham has a lot of very prominent black entrepreneurs that have done, things like that. I mean, it's just Polly Murray, Andre Leon Talley. I mean, the list just Ken Spalding. I mean, these are like all these different big names, and the list just keeps going and going and going.
Are they still around?
Right, like Ernie Barnes, like.
Some of them, a lot of them passed.
Yeah, a lot of these people passed, but some of them are still alive. But and I mean, this is like, I mean, Durham has a deep bench of black entrepreneurs that have touched things all across the globe, and it's crazy when you look at the history and you see that. Yeah, and the number of black artists that have performed
Right.
in Durham. I mean, going back, you can look up James Brown talking about being at they go perform and the Stallion Club. I mean, it's just like you name it, they've been through Durham.
It's a lot of history. in
It's
Durham.
a lot of history in Durham. So
I be wondering what brought me here sometimes. I'd be thinking about like, me and my wife, we was just like, let's move from Georgia. I'm originally from New Jersey, but she was just like, let's do something different for the kids. She applied out to UNC Chapel Hill, working at the resident program. And she didn't know where Chapel Hill was. She got an interview and she was like, hey, I got to ride all the way out to Chapel Hill. You want to come with me? And I was like, Chapel Hill? I'm like, you know how far that is from Augusta, Georgia? And she was just like, nah. I was like, we 5 hours away. So we took that leap and, I started working. They was little and, we was just like, every so often we'd be like, man, we're here. But I'd be wondering, like, what really brought me here? And just hearing our history of Durham is eye-opening because we was living in Chapel Hill, now we're Cary. But we come to Durham for certain events, but I never knew that is that type of, history, being from from Newark, New Jersey. It's a lot of history in Jersey. It's a lot of history in that type of, and I heard those stories growing up. So, but before we take a break, I do want everybody to know that In True Form is currently now on Roku Television, Fifth Sun Network, Fifth Sun Television, and you can also catch In True Form on YouTube under In True Form Podcast. You also be able to find it on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. So please subscribe, download an Android, Apple Store, the Fifth Sun Television. That's what this episode will premiere on. But yeah, man, this conversation is dope.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And we're going to take you through another wonderful little snippet. Snippet?
It's whatever you want.
Whatever we call it.
It's
Tidbit.
weird productions right now. Everything is weird sometimes.
Right.
So I am all. Y'all probably not going to see this on the full version, but my son and Lindsay just walked right across, and that's weird production. So
Yeah.
it goes. I actually might keep
live.
that. I might keep that.
We live.
It was funny because it's like you see her walk by with the bottle and
And he got the popcorn and the artwork.
like, what is
It's real life.
But we appreciate y'all sticking in with us. This has been, like I said, an amazing episode with Amos Cooper Jr. and Tobias Rose. These gentlemen have enlightened me tonight and just adding more to what this Durham city, what the city of North Carolina means, and the stuff that y'all have that y'all want to put out there, and the goals that you have has been super inspiring. Me being in this media space, mainly for photography, but just diving into the whole podcast has been different because people have these perspectives on their career, their journeys, and hearing your story. Like, yes, you sent over your bios some weeks ago, and I looked through it, but I would never imagine like hearing it, you know what I mean? And then you coming in, last minute type of thing, and you like adding another layer on top of what he had, and it's a bonus. It's a bonus for everybody. It's going to be a bonus for you listeners as well. One of the things that I typically do is I ask my guest, this is pretty much like me shooting my shot, who can you bring in front of In True Form that you feel will be a great guest, that would be inspiring for others and myself?
Man.
And that question is going to go for you too, Tobias.
I'm going to let him go first.
Go ahead, T.
There are a lot of people. I mean, obviously Candy Carver. I always tell people, that's like my sister right there. I'm always talk to Candy. Her perspective is amazing. I think that it really depends on, again, who you want to talk to. I know we talked earlier about your audience, but if you're going after small business owners, I think Niche might be another good one. She's been out here doing her thing with real estate and some other. I think she's exploring some other things right now. Ricky Moore, we were talking about him from Saltbox. Ricky, get Ricky. That's my guy.
You got to get Ricky.
Yeah, we can make that.
Yeah, like I can't get him.
Call him right now.
Yeah, like
my
I'm
guy.
shooting my shot. It's like you got to get him.
That's an easy one.
I think
Okay.
Ricky definitely. In the world of music, I would say someone like Fonte would be good. He likes stuff that's just like laid back and we're just chilling. We're gonna talk. It's just off the cuff. So many. I think a lot of the people that you're on the board with, we're on the board with.
I ain't on there, man, but I'm on there a little bit.
Because the thing about leadership, I think too, is also you want to pull other people up, and you want to make sure that things are left in good hands. And this particular board we're talking about, Amos is one of those people where I said, okay, we need a certain type of person. And he's in there crushing it. So this is the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce, by the way. But Amos has been crushing it.
Put me on that last year.
Yeah.
I was told about the Black Chamber of Commerce by my man Hassan. He owns 716's food truck, and he was just like, "Hey man, they did a gala last year. I think you should be able to check them out and stuff like that." So I think I signed up. It's one for Raleigh as well.
Yes.
And I signed up for that one. And so he was telling me to get the Durham one, but I didn't know it was two. at the
Yeah,
time?
there's two. There's the
Yeah.
Durham chamber, and then there's the black chamber.
Got you. Okay.
Then there's the Raleigh Black Chamber, as well as the greater.
Yeah, somebody by the name of Dion Selby.
Yeah, it's Dion. Yep, that's her.
She's the one that I saw on Facebook, and I was communicating with her. And
Dion's good people.
Okay.
She's been crushing it.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
watching it. Dion, you crushing that.
Hey, Dion. When I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger, and you asked who my audience was, I ain't never hear nothing back from her. So now you got to make sure you get you need to text Dion and say, hey, that photographer guy that's on your Facebook page.
She'll see us and she'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her the clip.
You got Amos and Tobias. All right.
I'm gonna send her the clip. I'm glad you know her. But yeah, man.
But yeah, so we both serve on the Greater Durham Chambers Board. Oh, I'm sorry.
You good.
I have to have a microphone.
You good. You good. It might even pick up with you, but hey, we don't want to make no chances.
But we do, that organization does economic development for the county. So a lot of the major projects that people hear about, we're working behind the scenes to make sure that things are done right. And then we also convene the business community. So your Chamber of Commerce, especially in Durham, that is the body that represents all of the businesses. So when we go to the county, when we go to the city and we say, hey, this is the thing that's affecting the businesses, they usually listen because that's what the chamber is. And so I've been doing this, I've been on the board now for 10 years maybe, a little more than that. This is your second year.
Yeah, second year.
This might be my last year. I think this might be. So anyway, I'm going on.
Nah, you good. I really wanna. I was telling Lindsay this before y'all both arrived. So I know y'all heard me mention about the Roku television network, Fifth Sun Television. So Dr. Larry Monk is the founder of the channel, and he got in touch with me through Takia, which is his marketing director, and they love the content. And so they was like, hey, we want to premiere your stuff on our network. Now, their thing that they're looking for right now are investors. I can't really tell too much of it, but I know he has worked in the background of Warner Brothers and all of them, and he basically, kind of branched off and used the same blueprint that BET started, Peacock, Tubi, all of that. So he's in the process right now as he's trying to eventually step away. So his thing is, we're looking for investors. So coincidentally, I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I'm just like probably 30 minutes ago, I'm sitting there like, why wouldn't I just tell them about it? And maybe y'all can have a sit down with him, or I can introduce you guys via email, and y'all can set up a call. 'Cause, that's my whole thing. Takia knows that I meet a lot of people, and people, you just never know what rooms that they can get you in. So, that's I wanted to kind of throw that out there. Typically I do that off camera, but I wanted to do that on camera because people need to understand that this is how we make moves. This is how we do things. And it's the same way like with Lindsay. It's like every time she booked me, I say, hey, Lindsay, you gotta, let people know who I am. Let people know like I do this type of work. I'm in the triangle doing the startups. Like all those startup tech companies, I do all their events. Yeah. And that's how I got in there. NC Tech booked me out, and that's how I got in all the other startup companies. So that word of mouth, that networking piece, man, it goes a long way. And everything that you guys are doing is amazing. One quick question for both of y'all, though, is looking back at y'all journey so far, what is one moment in your career that made you pause and say, this is bigger than me? Do y'all have a moment of that?
I don't know that I can probably think of one right off, but collectively, it's every time you call a local entrepreneur that is just starting. Like I can give you a couple of small examples. There's two individuals in Durham that I used to do a lot of event planning. I was doing weddings and corporate events.
You was doing everything.
Yeah, I've done all kind of stuff.
Jeez.
And there was
Famous Amos, that's what they call it?
Famous Amos, yeah.
That's cool.
There was two.
You be eating the cookies and stuff?
No, I wish they were mine. There was one friend of mine two actually, that, you know, were caterers, and they were working full-time jobs. And they were both able to leave their jobs, not just because of me, but I was one of the people that helped them
That's my goal.
on that journey, right?
That's my goal.
And so, you know, being able to see people take the leap that I did and leave a corporate job to be able to do their dream full time, I've seen that so many different times now being in this city and knowing that, you know, it's not about me. It's about being a part of that puzzle piece and helping them be able to do that. And so that's those moments that I look at on
I like
the
that.
timeline.
I like
of
that.
Like, you know, oh, I was booking this person for XYZ.
And now they
And now they doing it.
Yep.
Now they don't even need me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
You're a catalyst.
Right, exactly. And that's those moments that I look at collectively that I'm like, man, that's when you know you really move the needle in someone else's life.
That's deep. Yeah. What about you, T?
There are a few. There are a bunch of them. I'll try to be short. One of those moments was when the Daykeeper from the Foreign Exchange was nominated for the Grammy, and it had our artwork on it. And I remember putting that that cover together. There was a girl in my bed, and my girlfriend was just like, "Who is that, and why is she in your bed?" I was like, "It was for the artwork. It's for the picture." But they got the Grammy, and I saw them. This was MySpace era, on MySpace with Quincy Jones. And so, you know, seeing that, that was just amazing. And then, you know, after that, seeing their work in the stores, seeing their albums in the stores that had our artwork on it, and all the other artists, Yazara and even Little Brother albums that we did, you know, you start realizing, oh, okay, they're using the things that we sit there and play around in Photoshop and Illustrator to make money.
Right.
They're using this to set the brand. And even with Foreign Exchange, like I came into a session and they had some shirts on it. It wasn't a shirt that we designed, but the designer used our design to make the shirt. And, you know, when you see people taking a thing that you kind of came up with out of your brain and making it into something else, you start realizing that.
Right.
I think seeing my students, because like I said, I taught at UNC Chapel Hill, seeing them on LinkedIn and they become director of marketing at this thing and this thing, and then
Sound like a proud dad
senior,
watching
oh
his
my
son
gosh,
make it.
every day. You know, them hitting me up, hey, can you write a letter for me because I'm gonna go to grad school. Those things.
How many letter of recommendations you had to put out there?
I have had to write a lot of letters of
That's dope,
recommendation in
man.
my life, just for my students.
Yeah, that says
and
a lot
past
about
staff.
you. Yep.
Yeah, and that's when those are the moments where you realize that this is bigger than just your dream.
Yeah.
You know, this is an intersection of other people's dreams. And, you know, like you said, you're a cog, you're the catalyst for them to get to this point. And so that happens all the time with me, you know, seeing our clients who came to us and they had nothing, or they were super small and it was just an idea. And now they're out here winning awards. Like Gateway is another great example.
Yeah.
You know, Jack, I think Jack is retiring and his sons are out here. Austin, I think, took on the reins. They took on the reins. And I remember when they were coming up saying, yeah, so we want to call the company Gateway. And, you know, it had that same moment with Boricua Soul, where me and Tori was sitting on the red couch talking about it. But these stories, these clients, these people we work with, you know, they have their own stories. And every time I see them, you know, being successful or people enjoying their food, I have that same thought of this is way bigger than anything I was thinking about in my office.
Right.
You know, so I think those
I'm gonna make
Go
a
ahead.
full circle moment. I didn't know you did Gateway stuff. Yeah. Their logo, their branding, right? Gateway is the general contractor I use to build this space.
Yep.
Wow.
It's like,
That's
Wow.
This is Durham.
I didn't even know that story.
Yep, we do a lot. Like I said, the Gateway, Durham Bottling Company's logo. So if you go over here and you see that logo, the lightning bolt, we did that. Jewish Life at Duke, you go over there, all that stuff. So yeah, there we'd say to people, we designed Durham.
Yeah.
Because we've touched a lot of companies.
Am I getting old, or
Yeah.
like, yo, y'all young doing that?
I tell you this.
That's wild, man.
When I was in my early 20s, I was in a lot of situations with people who were 3 times my age. I was in boardrooms in my early 20s. So I had no choice.
You were doing a lot, yeah.
I was doing a
You
lot.
was
Like
in
I
some
said,
great rooms.
I was in a lot of good rooms because of Nesby.
Okay.
Nesby, because it was a student-run organization. You are an executive, and you are an executive in a room with Chevron, or in the room with IBM, or SAS, trying to get some money for for them to be in the BCA. So that prepared me. So when I got to Durham and I had to be in rooms with CEOs, it was just like, oh yeah, I did that last summer. So yeah, it started young, and also you got to remember, at that time Durham wasn't this. And when I was in my 20s, Durham was trying to figure this out. There was tumbleweed going through downtown back then. So I was able to participate in how do we remix this thing right here to make it something that is authentic, cool, and a place where people are actually going to want to go. Right. And so, in a lot of times when I was in those rooms with those older folks, that's what we were talking about. So I was able to be the voice to say, this is what Durham is going to be like in 15 years, and these are the types of things we need to think about in terms of what young people are going to want in 2008, 2009. So yeah, you're right. I was young.
You was mad young.
I was super young. So
Yeah, and I think one little nugget I can add that's very important for people to understand. I learned very early on, a lot of it is not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. And people need to realize how valuable, social currency is.
Yeah, man.
And
I talk about relationship
it
currency
is
too.
it is
Relational
one
currency.
of the most important things that you can learn early on. And the only reason why a lot of us are where we are is because of who we know.
Yep.
And it is definitely more valuable than a lot of dollars that you can put in
A lot
somebody's
of people
pocket.
it's a lot of people in high places because they know who somebody.
Exactly.
It's
And that, I
always
mean,
been like that.
and that was going back to when I was working at Square One Bank. A lot of what I noticed was that the money stayed in the same communities. Yeah. It was a lot of rich guys that went to Ivy League schools that was investing in their friends' businesses. And I was like, oh.
That's the blueprint.
Right, that's the blueprint, right?
Right.
And so it's not always about money. It's like, I can do this in Durham and spread this around and help a lot of people. And so that's what I was like, okay, I can flip this and do this a little bit differently.
Two questions. This gonna go for both of y'all as well. I talk a lot to my audience about like imposter syndrome, feeling like giving up. Did y'all ever have that point in y'all career, in y'all journey, that you were feeling like you're not supposed to be here? How did you pivot from that?
yes. Yes, it happens all the time. That's where ego, I think, has a place. I don't like to lead with ego, and I don't like to speak. I try to catch myself when I do it, but it has a place. Like sometimes you have to say to yourself, "Yo, I'm
that guy."
Yeah, like I'm that. Or
I can do this. Yep.
Like even a project with me and Knots, it's called Black Superhero Theme Music, and it's called Black Superhero Theme Music because one day I was walking around and someone looked at me. I'm not going to say the person's name because a lot of us all in this room know him. He said, "Oh, look, that's Durham's Black Superhero." I was like, "What are you?"
That was a compliment.
About? It was a compliment.
Yeah.
But it was also like, why did you call me that? There's a lot that goes along.
So
with
aura,
that.
a aura.
There's a lot of weight there. Like, why did you call me that?
Yeah.
But you sometimes have to tap into that because, we lose sight of how great the things that we do are because we're the ones doing it. And you don't realize that thing that you did may have influenced someone else. Sometimes it's just important for you to motivate yourself, for you to find that inspiration, and for you to keep going, and for you to get out of your own way, and for you to stop looking at yourself and nitpicking at yourself and all these things you got going on.
Right.
My dad used to say that to me: when you start doing that, then something's wrong. You got too much time in your hands, and you're spending your time looking at yourself, trying to figure out why this thing is this.
Looking for perfection.
Looking for perfection.
Yep.
And I'll say this. That has been, you asked earlier about some of those things that kind of got in the way, and the pursuit of perfection is something that I think has also slowed me down in a lot of cases where I may have been able to show some art to the world.
Right.
Music is a great example. I've got music I've been sitting on since 1997 that the world has never seen because I wanted it to be a certain
You wanted it to
way.
be a certain way. You wanted it to sound a
I wanted
certain
to
kind of
sound
way.
a certain way. It's not mixed down yet.
Yep. It's too late to put it out now because it's
Yeah,
97 work. Yep.
And that's the thing. Just that perfection thing.
Yeah.
It just really it gets in the way. So
Yeah.
I'm rambling.
You good, man.
What was the question?
Yeah.
See, that's how I'm rambling. You're like,
Nah, it's impossible. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome or something?
I think that, you have to kind of work through like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And that's something that I've had to tell myself many times, particularly doing the work that I do, because I'm obviously a large black man.
Yep.
And I work around a lot of wealthy white
Be
people.
intimidating. You can look intimidating.
Right.
And sometimes we're not intimidating.
Right, exactly.
We're like big teddy bears.
Right, exactly. And
All three of us are probably
exactly, yeah.
I'm a goofball. I do comedy.
Yeah.
I love to laugh.
And that was one thing I had to realize. I was like, I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I need to be anybody else. People love me for that, right? And they're on board for my mission and vision because of that.
Yeah.
And so you constantly have to pat yourself on the back,
Yeah, often.
often.
Women have this thing that they always talking, they post their affirmations on social media. Like women be doing that in their stories and stuff. But us as, guys, we battle that internally. We have to tell each other that. It's like we don't post affirmations.
Yeah.
We tell each other, we'll be like, yo man, you got this, bro. You got it. That's our affirmation. Like me and my dad, I talk to him every day now. We didn't have the greatest relationship growing up because he was in the streets and stuff like that, but that's like my best friend now. So, he tell me all the time, man, I'm proud of you. He's like, man, you doing stuff that I ain't never imagined my son will be able to do. But that's affirmation. That's the way we talk to each other.
Yeah.
But closing out, you guys say, go for it. Go for it, T. Yep.
One thing with that, I was lucky because my dad used to do the same thing.
Dope.
But something you said that I wanted to speak on, Amos. You were talking about, being like you're where you're supposed to be at right now. I think that's the other thing that drew me to Durham. When I got to Durham, I really felt like, oh, I'm around my people. I can be a nerd in Durham. I can be the weird artsy person in Durham. I got my weird friends over here, my nerdy friends over here, my super intellectual friends over here, my artsy friends, and we're all in the same town. It's cool because a lot of these folks are all the same people.
Right.
And I think that's the other thing that happens in this whole imposter syndrome when you kind of relax and you look around at who you got around you, and you start realizing I'm good. I'm where I'm supposed to be at. I think that helps out a whole lot. So I'm glad you brought it up. I just wanted to.
Yeah, man. I typically close out my episodes with my signature question, and you guys both can answer this. But Entry Form is all about, true authenticity, stepping into your purpose, being in the moment. What does Entry Form mean to you, Tobias, and what does it mean to you, and how do you show up in your everyday life?
I think if you look at me, when I go into a boardroom, I try to represent my creative community. There aren't a lot of creatives in boardrooms. There aren't a lot of creatives that are in positions where they're able to make decisions. So for me, I try to show up as myself. I try to not change the way that I'm talking, no matter if I'm talking to a president, CEO, or if I'm talking to a community organizer. You're going to get the same Tobias that you got in both situations, and that's really, really important to me. Right. So I'll tell people, yes, I love my hip hop. Yes, I love my whiskey. Yes, I love certain things. And then if I'm in the boardroom, I'm going to say the same things. Yeah. You've seen me do it. Yeah.
Right.
And some people be like, oh, but the people that have been in the boardroom with me for a while, they're like, oh, that's just fine. So.
Right.
And I can attest to that because he would come to a board meeting sometimes.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I think same thing. I think it's just being your authentic self whenever you're in any spaces and not trying to be someone that you're not. Going back to that imposter syndrome thing.
Right.
It's like, I always like to be around people that are being true with me, and I try to be true with people. I'm on the board of an organization here, or an advisory committee for an organization here, and they were doing headshots. They asked me for a headshot. And all the other people on there, they all work for big companies in the area. and all their headshots were in suits. And I gave them mine, and I have on a black Bull City t-shirt and some khakis and some like high tops.
Right.
And the CEO came back to me. He said, "Hey, can you change this and give me something?" And I said, "No." And that's me. I'm like, I own my own company. I'm not putting on a suit. I did that for someone else for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
That's not who I am.
Felt good, didn't it?
Right, and it did. And I'm still on the board.
That's dope.
And so that was one of the things that I realized. I was like, you have power in that I don't need to change to come. You want me to go conform to what you're doing,
Right.
but this is who I am.
Right.
And so, and I think that was one of the moments I realized that I had that kind of power, and I didn't know I had that kind of power until that very moment.
That's amazing, man. Hey, man, y'all did it. Y'all still doing it. I appreciate y'all sitting down with me and telling me your story. We got to do a part 2 because you mentioned off camera that it was some stuff that y'all could have definitely gone into.
Oh, this
Man,
can't.
we could have went back to the 1900s.
Yeah, so we definitely going to schedule a part 2. We'll probably do it in one of the other spaces in the room, like right there in front of this big robot thing. I think that's super dope. But I appreciate you for doing this for me, and appreciate you coming through. We're going to connect on socials, get y'all lined up with some other stuff. In true form formats, I appreciate y'all tuning in for another amazing episode. Happy Black History Month again. I want to thank Lindsay for allowing this space. I know she don't like that sometimes, but I'm gonna keep always giving her her flowers because she's amazing. Appreciate my kids being here watching this episode. Appreciate Mr. Eric being here, showing up and being here. I'm gonna have him on too because he looked like he got some jewels that he's ready to spew off to everybody else. So that's why I'm like, we're gonna definitely connect. But I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all likes, comments, subscribe, follow all of us on social medias, join the movement. Be blessed. Peace. Yep.
Now there's some food.
Yeah, same, man.
His French fries.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, I love this establishment. Yeah. You appreciate you being here, Jordan.